And let your hands come to your chest. And let's just take a moment here to begin our practice with gratitude. And for me, a very simple gratitude is often the most accessible. And one of the most simple points of gratitude is just gratitude for this breath. Gratitude for this day. Thanks for another opportunity to experience the sun shining its light. Offering any of your own gratitudes. And as you remember that there is palpable, tangible benefit in practices such as these, that they create in you more capacity for interrelationship, for steadiness in your thoughts, in your behaviors, for care and thoughtfulness. Maybe there's an offering of merit, any benefit that you might receive through this practice. Is there anyone or any place that you want to offer that to? And then let's all take a collective couple of breaths together. Just breathing at your own pace and rhythm, but deepening your breath. And deepening the breath often feels like, oh, now I have to puff out my lungs really big, or there might even be some force in the breath, but I want to invite you to deepen the breath by softening it. Noticing where there's already ease in your breathing. And then encouraging that ease to spread out into the surrounding tissues. Knowing that the movement of your breath can travel anywhere in your body through the movement of oxygen, the movement of fluid, the movement of energy. Feeling where there's already ease in your breath and inviting that ease to extend out. Inviting it to reach the places in your body that feel tense, that feel tight, tired, pain. And then let's take the energy of our hearts that's in our hands, opening the hands forwards and then turning the palms down to the ground. And through the palms, try and feel for the earth. Imagine that your hands energetically can reach down into earth and into the earth's body. Through the soles of your feet or the skin at your seat. Maybe you're lying down, skin at your back. Feel where the ground contacts you as you inhale, receiving earth energy into your body. Noticing where there's already ease in the breath. And as you exhale, reaching for the earth. Taking several breaths like this, as you inhale, imagine and sense that your breath is coming from the earth. As you exhale, imagine and sense that your breath is returning to the earth. As you breathe, energy transforms. Every cell in your body breathing, metabolizing this breath, turning it into your vital life force. And now from your heart and into your hands, offering your intention, your dedication of merit. Breath moving into your body from the earth, vital life energy, coming into your heart, into your beingness. From your beingness and from your heart, offering breath back to the earth, back to the relational plane. Maybe feeling into specific anchors of relationship and gratitude, those who you know that your energy affects and extends to, who you want to offer to, and maybe to all beings, maybe to all beings without exception. Drawing energy from the earth, metabolizing, transforming, giving energy back to the earth. Taking one more breath like that. And then stretch out your hands and your fingers. Let's bring the hands together. Rub the hands. Get some energy in your palms. And then let's wake up the body. So if you can reach your feet, you're going to touch your feet. If you can't reach your feet, then you can feel the skin on your feet. You can follow my cues with your sensory awareness. And take our hands down or take our attention down and just start to rub the skin on the feet. Coming up the inner line of the leg, through the inner knees, all the way up to the pelvis, to the groin, and then down the outer legs, outer knees, and then let's do some faster strokes, rubbing up the inner line of the legs and down the outer line, up the inner and down the outer. This is great if you're standing too. Okay, next time your hands come up, let them wrap around to your low back. And on your low back, make some circles. Rub up and down the sides of your sacrum. And the sacrum is the bony diamond shape at the base of your spine. Maybe you can feel the edges of your sacrum or the sides of your sacrum. And then if it's comfortable, if it's possible for you, bend over so that you can bring your hand to the base of your spine. And at the base of your spine is your tailbone. And for a lot of us to sense where the tailbone is, we have to kind of get up into the crack a little bit. And so try and find the base of your spine, get a sense of where that is. And then rub your sacrum again. And while you're still folded over, make gentle fists and give yourself a little bit of a low back massage. You can let your head relax while you're here. Let's let out some sounds while you're here. Just and then rolling up. And we're going to take our hands and now rub circles on the outer ribs. And let's lift one arm up and take the other hand and rub up the side of that waist. Okay, and then with this hand, gentle fist or light palm. Some slaps, some taps around this lung, around this rib. And then up over the shoulder. And while your arm's up, keep that arm up. Go ahead and bend your elbow and let your hand rest down behind your neck. And then turn your head away from that arm, so away from the lifting arm. Reach up through your elbow. Take a deep breath in through the lung on that side. And just play with the direction of your nose. You might tip your nose a little bit down or a little bit to the side, a little bit around. Where I feel this stretch is kind of the outside of my neck on the lifting arm side, down into the shoulder a little bit. And then on an inhale breath, we'll return the face to the center, reach the arm up and out. And then you can take that hand behind you and maybe you can grab your opposite elbow. So one arm is behind your back. And then now we'll let the head fall over to the other side. So your ear is towards your other shoulder. And then go ahead and play with the direction of your chin. Relaxing your jaw. And then let your head roll to the center, release both hands forwards. And then just lift your head for a moment and feel the difference between your two sides. And then we'll do the other side. So reaching your arm up and rubbing down the side of the waist. Stretching up through your lifting arm. And then just gentle taps or slaps, kind of opening up lung capacity for our breath. Up behind the shoulder. And then the lifting arm can bend. Your hand can come behind your neck. And you're going to look away from your lifting arm. Keep the elbow reaching up. And then nod your nose a little bit down or up, maybe slightly. Over to the side. Your lungs come all the way up underneath your upper collarbones. Very important for our nervous systems and sense of inner balance that we can have access to our breath. Okay. And then lifting that arm back up, stretching it up, and then taking it out and behind your body. Maybe you can grab your opposite elbow. And now drop your ear to that side, away from the bending arm. And reaching with your chin. And then let your head roll again towards your chest and release both arms forwards. And then let your head roll back up. And just take a moment and notice, just with that little amount of movement and breath, what has started to change. Okay, so now with your hands, try and find the top of your spine. So we looked a moment ago at our tailbone. Now we're going to try and feel for the top of the spine. And if you bring your hands to the place where there's a soft notch at the base of your skull, then kind of press your fingertips up underneath that notch. You're moving your fingertips towards the top of your spine. And with your hands underneath that notch, you can bob your head a little bit and do that. Try and feel how this movement at the top of the spine is movement kind of at the height of your nose. Maybe a little higher up than sometimes we think about movement at our neck. Let your jaw relax. You do this. Okay, so you have a sense of where the top of the spine is. Okay, and then you can always use your touch to build consciousness. It's a great way to build consciousness. So I'm going to move my hands, but you can always keep your hands there. From the very top of our spines, we're going to try and make tiny, tiny circles. And here I'm imagining that there's a pen at the top of my head and I'm drawing circles on the ceiling. From the very top of my spine, I'm making those little circles. And if you're lying down on the ground, then you could make circles as well, kind of feeling where your head is on the ground. And then let's let those circles get just a little bit bigger. But we're not necessarily stretching the neck muscles here. We're trying to get a specific quality of movement and attention and awareness into the top of the spine. Go the other direction. It's very helpful, I think, to close your eyes. It's very helpful for me. I do this kind of stuff to close my eyes so I can sense inward. And then letting your circles get smaller and smaller again until they're just tiny, tiny little circles. And then beginning from your eyes, we'll turn the head to one side. So first, take your eyes all the way over into the left corners. Feel the pull of your eyes before you move your head. Feel how your eyes pull in the connective tissues inside your head all the way down to your neck. And then let your eyes keep reaching to the left. Then turn your head to the left, rotate. And then to come to the other side, we're going to start with the eyes first, turning the eyes to the right. And then letting the pull of the eyes and the reach of the eyes turn the head. Do that a couple of times, move at your own pace. I'm going to invite you to move slow enough so that you can build sensory consciousness. Get really curious about how the feeling in your eyes translates to a movement in your head and your neck. Maybe one more each way. The muscles that control your eyes are right up there at the top of the spine, at the base of the skull. And after you've done both sides, let your eyes guide you back to the center. And then just pause and notice how you feel. You're working with the eyes. Notice what happens in the nervous system. Okay, let's stretch out the face. So make faces, bah, make sounds, scrunch up your face, make it really big. If you feel good about touching your face with your hands, you might rub your face right now, give yourself a face massage, jaw massage, blowing out your lips. Sometimes in the morning, I make like nonsense monster attitude, and the nonsense monster is like just be a nonsense monster, let nonsense come out of your mouth, jibber jabber. Then like monster in the Muppets, you know. Was it the Muppets? Sesame Street? I forget what they're called. Stretching out your tongue. And then pausing and noticing how that feels. Okay, and then we'll scrunch the shoulders up towards the neck and keep the shoulders high up and roll big circles in the head. Okay, if it hurts at all to take your head back, just make U shape, horseshoe shape in the front. Go both directions. And then the next time your head comes down, keep it down. And on an inhale breath, shrug your head up, shoulders back, and then we'll make circles with the shoulders. Bringing breath up into the top of the lungs, into the chest as the shoulders move. Okay, and then one shoulder at a time, rolling them back, walking the shoulders. And then taking them forward. And both shoulders forwards at a time. And then shimmy the shoulders a little bit. Shake them out. Shake the top of the spine. And let's shake down the arms. And then using one hand, take it to the opposite shoulder and just squeeze the top of that shoulder, squeeze the muscle, and then squeeze all the way down your deltoid, upper arm muscles, forearm muscles, and then pull the energy out your hand and do that again, squeezing down the muscle of your arm. And then a couple of times, like you're sweeping anything stagnant out of that arm, pulling it out and down. And then we'll rub up the inside of the arm. Again, up the inner arm. And this time when you get to that space underneath your armpit, go ahead and give some massage there. And you can relax the lifting arm. Sometimes I just let it rest on my head. But if you grab the outside of your shoulder blade of this area, a lot of people get real tense in there. And when we're in the fight, flight, stress space, these muscles can hold a lot. And a lot of breathing can get stuck up here. So just helping them kind of relax, sending the breath. Any sounds that want to come out as you rub your shoulders or any part of your body, let them come out. We'll just shake that arm out. Notice the difference between both sides before we switch. And then switch. Okay, so we're starting just by grabbing the muscle, massaging the trapezius up here, upper shoulder, and then down the arm. And pulling any stuck stuff, stuck energy, tension, pulling it down. And then sweeping down the arm. And then up the inside of the forearm, upper arm, outer shoulder, and then getting these guys, grabbing a hold of your outer armpit, maybe if you can. Breathing into these spaces. Letting tension release in your breath. And then go ahead and shake out your arms. All right. Now with hands on your knees, or if you're standing, you could try hands on your hips or even standing a little bit like that, or find your own way with it. We're going to do some circling with our spines. And here, you can go slow or fast, however you want. But here, let's really try and feel that the ribs are what's moving, the rib basket. And the hands and movement in the arms can be really helpful here. We want to try and relax the spine a little bit as we do this. One of the reasons it can be helpful to sit while doing this is relaxing the spine. Then go both directions, either way. Stirring your ribs, stirring your spine. Okay, and then coming back to the center and pausing and noticing. Okay, and then again, we're going to try and feel for this tailbone place. And this is going to be an easy movement for me seated on my ball like this. If you're standing, make sure your knees stay bent as you do this movement. And if you're seated on a harder chair, move forward on your seat so you're not, you have a little bit of movement with your pelvis. So find your tailbone once again. So base of your spine, you got to get down in there to find it. And from the tailbone, we're going to start to move the entire spine. And this is different than moving from your sacrum or moving from your low back. So if you don't have experience or a lot of experience with this yet, try and go slow. Really, how do you move from your tailbone? How do you move from the base of the spine so that the tailbone can start to reach back, taking you into a forward fold? So my tailbone is reaching back, and as it reaches back, the rest of my spine moves forward. And when my spine is forward, I'm going to take a minute and just rest. But then when I'm ready to come up, I want to start with my tailbone. How do I reach from the tip of my spine? I can use my legs to help me. But I want to let the tailbone be the first part that starts to roll me up. Okay. So let's take several spinal roll downs like that, and you can do it at your own pace. And so you're working from your tailbone to cascade the spine, letting it come down. And then rolling back up. And for folks who might have other kinds of movement needs or limited mobility in their spine right now, and that doesn't feel so good, you can still get real curious about your tailbone and how moving from your tailbone might inform the rest of the energy in your spine. And because our tailbones are so close to our buttholes, it can be also an interesting thing to try and move from your butthole. Let the anus, I used to have a yoga teacher who would just all the time, he'd talk about the anal mouth. It was really like his thing. He was really into it. But, you know, whatever works for you. You can let the anal mouth reach back. Feeling into the relationship of the spine to the soft tissues in the pelvic floor. And then really letting this movement develop a fluid quality to it so that we start to let the spine kind of ripple. Letting your breath flow. I'm feeling like I don't want to go as far into my forward fold now that I'm rippling. Just enjoying a kind of kelp-like movement in the spine. Maybe one or two more times. And then next time you've Come up to the center, pause. And notice how you feel.